Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to be starting a project I've been wanting to work on for a while. It is a tandem guide series to the Casual Vault Hunter's Guide, but this time we're going to be looking at some of the items, weapons, and spells in Dark Souls. I don't quite have a name for it yet, so the current placeholder name will be the Fading Hollows Armory. If anyone has a better name, please leave it in the comments down below, and we can see what we can come up with, all right? But starting off today, we're going to be looking at the Bandit's Knife. Obtaining the Bandit's Knife is a very easy endeavor. It is the starting weapon of the Thief class and is automatically given to you at the start of the game if you pick such. Besides starting as the Thief class, the only other way to obtain this weapon is to farm the Assassins in the lower Undead Burg, which drop this weapon at a 2% rate. Bandit's Knife starts out sporting a respectable B in dexterity scaling, as well as a barely mentionable E in strength scaling. That being said, one of the added benefits of starting with the Bandit's Knife is that it also boasts a very high bleed stat, which stacks up to 30 bleed per hit, and when the meter fills, deals 300 bleed damage to whatever you're hitting. At the end of its reinforcement, if you get it to plus 15 via just basic upgrades, it will upgrade to A scaling and dexterity, though, making this thing a monster in the late game. This weapon's moveset consists of a lot of short slashes, and while two-handing, some forward thrusting. In terms of enchantments or enhancements you can apply to this weapon, it takes buffs such as magic weapon or resins, as well as getting a damage boost from items such as Power Within or the Red Tier Stone Ring. So make sure you go out shopping, finding everything you can to boost this weapon. My personal preference happens to be the Hornet Ring, giving it exceptionally high critical damage boosting. Let's say you've gotten your Bandit's Knife, you've gotten a couple resins to boost it if available, you've gotten maybe a ring that gives you extra critical damage. What kind of playstyle complements the Bandit's Knife at that point? Really, there are two options that come to mind in the situation. You can either A, deal a lot of quick slashes to try to build up that bleed meter to take a chunk out of their health per time it procs, or B, my personal preference, go for riposte and backstabs. The Bandit's Knife extremely high base critical multiplier makes it so that if you deal a riposte or a backstab, the small amount of damage you can deal with like the base damage of the weapon gets cranked into the stratosphere by that. My personal recommendation for a setup to use that second variation of the build is Power Within, Crystal Magic Weapon, or Great Magic Weapon, depending on how high you wish to boost your intelligence throughout the playthrough, and either the Red Tier Stone Ring or the Hornet Ring, because usually the other ring slot will be reserved for the Havel's Ring or the Ring of Favor and Protection. Power Within will grant your character a 40% damage buff for the duration. Great Magic Weapon and Crystal Magic Weapon will increase the weapon's base amount of damage by adding a magic amount of damage to it. And as for the rings, the Red Tier Stone Ring will give your character 50% more damage when they're under 20% of their max health. And lastly, the Hornet Ring will increase your backstab and riposte damage by 30% when equipped. So it's much less of a risk reward than the Red Tier Stone Ring, the cost of 20% extra damage in comparison to it. So while it might be safer, it's also not going to quite boost those damage numbers as high as you possibly could. I recommend staying under 25% of your max load to enable quick rolling, as being able to get behind enemies for backstabs is paramount to taking advantage of the high critical damage of this weapon. As you can see here from my recent Can You Beat Dark Souls with Only Daggers run on Twitch, even not fully optimized, this weapon is horrendously strong, even against late game or end game bosses. So slap it on, start slashing, start parrying and riposting if you're getting good at that, and enjoy yourself. In any case, I rate the Bandit's dagger at about an A ranking. The short range and low base damage really hold it back, but being able to bleed and then the high critical damage on top of that really make this weapon shine. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of what I'm tentatively calling the Fading Hollows Armory. like I mentioned before, if you think you have a better name for the series, please leave a comment down below. Or if there's a different way you think I should structure the video, any constructive criticism, please let me know. But until next time, on Friday, we are going to be going back to the Borderlands series. If this series takes off, I think I'm going to be doing it this one time a week and that series 2 times a week. But for now, take care of each other, be kind, and I'll see you soon.